What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. In today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of Fernbus and kind of going over a little bit of information surrounding that, as well as a little bit of information for Tourist Bus Simulator as well. Like I say, I do apologise for all the technical problems, but I think we've got that out of the way now. All the wheels working brilliant, and hopefully don't run into any other issues. But like I say, I hope you're all doing fantastic. I hope you've all enjoyed your weeks. Friday is finally upon us. But what a better way to get on with it than play a little bit of Fernbus? Kind of get a little bit into a little bit more of information around this game, really what to expect for console release, and kind of a little bit of information surrounding that as well. So like I say, without further ado, let's get stuck in, shall we? So we've got to get these passengers on board. Now, like I said in one of my previous streams regarding this game, now don't get me wrong, it's not actually the game itself which I have a problem with, and we will get into that later down the line. I'm sure that a few of you can appreciate and understand quite a few of the issues which I think we all have generally surrounding this developer anyway. Now, I'm not going to say that you're going to absolutely love this game. I mean, okay, valid. Sorry, I need to pay attention. If Tourist Bus kind of did it for you in a way, this is exactly what this game is essentially. A lot of the same features from this game have made its way over to Tourist Bus. Now that's not, I'm not paying attention, but that's not a massive problem. But the only issue is, of course, a lot of it gets copied and pasted, so a lot of the information and a lot of existing bugs come over as well. And that's obviously the downside to it. Of course, there's a few positive notes around it, and like I say, we will get into those a little bit more as time goes on. But let's get these people on board first, and then we can set off. There we are. But yeah, like I say, I hope you're all doing well. Hope you've all had a fantastic week. Yes, it's working. Brilliant. Like I say, the one thing that I do actually like about their games, more or less to the point, is how the buses handle. Now I'm going to get into the positive side and the things that I actually enjoy, and the things which these games actually do quite well. And this goes back to Tourist Bus as well. The busing side of it is a lot of fun. And I think for, Fernbus to make it to console, it's definitely a nice addition for the console users anyway. Any more sort of simulation games, busing, trucking, anything like that, kind of just got to take what you can get at the end of the day. Now, like I said, I will be going over a little bit of information which I have obtained through, obviously, Fabian, and a few general impressions, and really what to expect when it does come to consoles. Now, they have shown a video, and this video was claimed to be on a early development, early access sort of version of consoles, or should I say of the console version. Now, they've done this before, and this was a big red flag for me, because we don't know as to whether they were actually showing console footage or showing the PC footage but powering it off as if it is console footage. Now, Doesn't necessarily matter, because essentially you are getting the same game, but there will be um, a lot of options, a lot of settings which may be included or may be missed. That's essentially what it comes down to. It's no different than what they did with Tourist Bus on PC to console. The port was very hit and miss. There was a lot of settings and options which weren't available um, on the console side of it compared to the PC side of it. So, of course, a lot of uh, a lot of you are probably wondering, well, what do we get? What is included? What is going to be included um, for the console version? Now, as we know, we are supposed to be getting all the DLCs, everything like that, France, Spain, all those kinds of places. So it is going to be generally quite a big game. It's well, the way that I describe it is basically just like a Euro truck, but busing essentially. Um, Now we will go through, like I said, we will go through quite a few things which they have mentioned, um, but they've also stated as well that a lot of things which were shown in the sort of early access build, there was a lot of PC information. Uh, and that's the one thing that kind of made me turn up a little bit, because they're showing a pre-console build of the game, but there's PC information within that video. So it kind of led me to suggest that maybe they weren't showing, Fernbus on this console build, and they were actually showcasing it they were showcasing it on the PC, which I guess from a marketing perspective, they've got to make sure the game looks its best. Aerosoft, they did the same thing with On the Road as well. They showed us a PC version, and they over glorified it, when in actual fact it was the PC version, and the console element of it wasn't exactly there. Not that that really matters, because at the end of the day, like I said before, as console players, we've pretty much got to take whatever we can get, and unfortunately, there's not very many people, very many developers that are actually taking advantage of the market for simulation games, especially when it comes to busing and trucking and stuff like that. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, well, wheel support. They have claimed that we will be getting wheel support for Fernbus for consoles, and they've also said that all wheels, paddles, and all that kind of stuff uh, are to be working for it. As to whether that is the full case of it, nobody really knows. We know as players of people, people that have played previous titles, wheel support has definitely been a bit iffy, bit up and down like a yo-yo. So as to whether that actually does happen and it comes out flawlessly is another story. There's bound to be a few issues here and there around the wheel support side of it. As expected, because a lot of the stuff in Tourist Bus, it definitely kind of, there's a reminiscence of it from this game, so it's to be expected. How's it going, Observador? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, like I said, wheel support, they've stated that all wheels are to be working, and I guess that just basically leaves us down to the point of waiting for the game to actually release on consoles, just to kind of figure that out. We won't really know until until it comes to us, essentially. That is the biggest issue. If they say these things, but whether they actually materialize is another story. And like I said, a lot of that information and a lot of that stuff will kind of relate to what I'm about to say. Now, of course, we get our standard sort of like free mode, career mode. If you've played Tourist Bus, you kind of get the general gist of it, to be honest. There's nothing really that's changed. Even if you've played the PC version of Fernbus and you're planning on buying it for the console as well, there's going to be very minute differences. Now, of course, like they said, they're going to be bringing it out on the Unreal Engine 5. Whether that's just going to be a few features or whether they're going all out, who really knows? Who really knows? And this is the thing, like we've said previously, the communication is not quite right. And to be honest, we can't really take what they say as gospel truth at the end of the day, can we? There's a lot of obviously common issues which we've had from Tourist Bus, for example. That's really sort of like knocked my confidence and faith in purchasing any more of their games. It wouldn't be so bad if they were they were pretty hot on their fixes and updates and stuff, but the fact of the matter is that they just simply aren't, and that's where my frustration grows and grows and grows, because I do like these games. I do have a bit of a passion when it comes to buses and things like that. But, like we've said before, it's just basically they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're letting themselves down, which is an absolute shame, because, they don't do a bad job of busing games. The driving the buses is probably the nicer part about it, but everything else, I mean, it just lets itself down. Building simulator for consoles are broken. Yeah, Observador. I think that's the problem. A lot of developers are getting quite lazy, and this is another piece of information as well. So they are planning on bringing the bus packs that are in Tourist Bus to Fernbus for consoles. Now, they have said that they're planning on doing like a cross purchase for the packs. So if you buy the packs for Tourist Bus, you'll also get access to them for Fernbus as well. But they are working on that. That is what they've stated. That is what they've said. Now, as to whether that actually happens or not is a completely different story. But I don't really like the idea of initially just saying, almost kind of forcing you to buy these DLC packs. It's not good, and it definitely doesn't look good in for them, considering their reputation. But I suppose those that have bought the DLC packs for Tourist Bus, if they do manage to find like a cross, or do manage to sort out the cross purchase for both games, so you only have to buy the packs once, I think that would be highly beneficial, because I don't, it's essentially just copy and paste. That's all it is. It's just a big copy and paste. So you've got to expect a lot of the bugs which, exist in Tourist Bus with the buses and things like that. You're going to see it in Fernbus as well, and it goes without saying a lot of the a lot of the issues which actually are in Fernbus, like I said, they reside in Tourist Bus as well, just simply down to the fact that it's a lot of copy and pasting. How's it going, Richard? Yeah. So it's essentially just, I'm going over basically what he said and kind of going into a little, trying to analyze it a little bit more and kind of, trying to start like a little discussion about it really, and what you guys generally think, because he has mentioned an awful lot of stuff. Um, and like I say, over the course of the video, we will get into the meat and bones of it. But you know, I just thought I'd stream just to kind of get a general gauge of what you guys are really thinking, and what you guys thought of that video. You know, yeah, it's not good, Observador. It's not good. I mean, it depends. It depends on what you see, and like I said, what your expectations are when it comes to these games. Because essentially, the way I see it, Tourist Bus actually has a lot more to offer than Fernbus. Um, but at the same time, Fernbus does have a bigger map. All the buses are the same, you know, and like they said with the cross purchase for the DLC packs, you know, that just speaks volumes in itself. You're not actually going to see anything revolutionary. You're just going to have the opportunity to be able to drive these buses in in bigger maps, you know, essentially. So it depends on what you really want from it. You know, as for the price point, you know, that would be definitely something to be interested in sort of finding out. As to whether they actually release that information, I highly doubt it. But, you know, it would probably be around the same sort of price bracket, I would imagine, as like, you know, Tourist Bus. Your expectations are zero to none. Well, funny you should say that, because a lot of people feel the same way, and I think a lot of people are on the fence as well as to whether, you know, do they give them another chance? Do they give them the opportunity? And do you take that gamble? That's pretty much what it comes down to. Now, like I said before, they've announced the fact that there won't be any old gen releases, so Xbox One and PS4. There's going to be no release for that. So I guess that's kind of a downside to those that don't have the latest technology, the latest gen consoles and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm just kind of glad that they have done that, simply because, you know, there are limitations, and I feel that, you know, the Xbox One and the PS4 would essentially hold this game back. You know, considering if they're planning on bringing it out to the Unreal 5 as well. But that's to be seen. You know, like they say, they're planning on bringing Tourist Bus up to speed, apparently, with the Unreal 5 engine. Now, I don't really know how I feel about that, to be honest with you, because I feel that some people will probably say it's a little too late, and some people will probably be persistent to the point of where they stick around and wait for that. But it's whether it materializes or not. And I think a lot of the genuine sort of player base that were kind of positive about the game from, you know, the get-go, whether they'll still be around when they do finally bring it up to speed, you know? Probably get more money. Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is what I mean. You see, their reputation is, they've kind of let themselves down, really, because there's not a lot of trust within that company, or should I say, within the development team. Anyway, Aerosoft, I know they publish, but they also communicate a lot of the, you know, the ins and outs of what's going on. But I just wish they would give us a little bit of a roadmap, you know, just to let us know. But unfortunately, they don't do that, you know, and it does really, really let the franchise down. You know, it's not that they're bad games; it's just they're poorly maintained. You know, I mean, Fabian said that this game is supposed to receive support for years to come, um, and it does make you wonder, because, you know, Tourist Bus hasn't received that sort of love. You know, so their sort of words aren't matching their actions, if that makes any sense. I was reading the comments. Someone mentioned on the road and replied saying he has a team working on it. Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean, though. Are they just saying these things? You know, will these things actually materialize? Because they've got a lot of projects going on. You know, the bus being one of them. You know, they seem to be focusing a lot of time and effort on the bus, and I think the only reason for that is the fact that it's still in an early access build. You know, so because Tourist Bus and On the Road and Fernbus, they are fully fully sold sort of like licensed products. You know, they're not in early access. They're not in an early stage. They are fully fledged, full titles. So in theory, they don't really have to update them if they don't want to. So that's probably why we see them updating the bus a lot more, because it's in that sort of early stages of development. They kind of have to be seen to be working on it, you know. Yeah, and if anyone's actually wondering as well, of course, a lot of people want to know whether modding will be an option, whether you will see any of those sorts of features for the console side of it. And like they said, they have no plans for obviously bringing the modding side of it to the consoles. And I mean, it's not that great anyway. You know, you're just talking different liveries and skins and things like that for your buses, so it's not too much of a loss. But at the same time, it would be really cool if they did include that. But small steps at a time, I suppose. you know, like I said in my previous stream, because I own this on the PC, the chances of me actually buying it for the console is very slim, and there's a few concerns that I have. One being whether there will be any wheel support settings. Now I know that they've said that all wheels are supposedly supposed to be supported, but I don't know. I can't see them adding any options regarding force feedback or anything like that. I think we're just going to get the bulk standard sort of like plug in play, no adjustments, which I think is a bit of a shame, to be completely honest. Oh. But this is the thing that I want to know. I mean, they have said that Fernbus will, well, could potentially be coming at the end of this year or early next. As for what they're doing with Tourist Bus, I think their plan is to essentially wait for Fernbus to come out and then uh, bring Tourist Bus up to speed with the Unreal Engine 5, and they either going to update it when that happens or just a little bit after. That is what they've said well, that's what Fabian has said in his video anyway. Um, but more or less to the point is, like I said, that the time scale, how long this is actually going to take, and whether it actually materializes or not. That's essentially what it comes down to for me. I don't know if anybody else is the same regarding these games. Are you planning on buying it for consoles? Are you going to give it a chance? Well, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments section below whether it's something which you're not too sure on, or whether you're completely sure and you're going to purchase it. I mean, overall, if you're into your busing, you can kind of accept the fact that these games aren't 100%, but you enjoy what they have to offer, and you enjoy driving the buses around essentially. Then fair enough. But I think for me, when it comes down to like save data loss and progression, it all being lost, and the bugs and certain features either not being included or aren't working, I think that's kind of left a lot to be desired. Hopefully they've learned from their mistake with Tourist Bus, and they kind of just get themselves on the right path, and kind of push themselves to making these games run and play in a lot more of a stabler condition to what they are now. For me personally, I feel that because what Fabian and Aerosoft did with On the Road, then you jump to obviously TML with Tourist Bus. They do come across, they do seem a bit half baked, and like I've said in previous streams, I'll try and keep it as positive as I can, but we can't hide behind the obvious. When there's straight facts in our faces, and there's obvious problems which reside within these games. If you purchase it, you have the right to an opinion, and whether anybody disagrees with that, that unfortunately that's life. We have the right to kind of give our general verdict on how we feel, and of course, because we've paid with our hard-earned money, we are entitled to some answers. Now, I did see a comment from SimNext on somebody's comment. Actually, it was a reply, and they basically said that it's up to you what you buy or not. It's sad, but unfortunately, there's not really much they can do about it. And that really speaks volumes to their general attitude for how they deal with a customer basis. Now, I can give you my full verdict, and I can tell you exactly how I feel, and the way that I expect it to be, because essentially at the end of the day, it's probably going to be no different than anything other than we played before. In fact, a lot of the issues which you see in Tourist Bus are in this game because a lot of the features from this game are essentially just copy and pasted. That's all it is. It's just this game that's been copied and pasted. Buses are the same. Even the NPCs are the same. The passengers are the same. They say the same things. They sound exactly the same. It's because they are. And a lot of the issues which Tourist Bus has are in this game and yet still haven't been fixed. They have said that they will bring the PC side up to Unreal Engine 5 as well. But I just feel that that's such a huge monumental effort to aim for the end of this year, beginning of next, with everything that they've got going on, as well as what they've kind of promised now. It's out in the open. He's made a video. So if they don't deliver now, then all hell's going to break loose, isn't it? After On the Road and Tourist Bus, make your mind boggle buying it. Yeah, exactly, Richard. But that's kind of what I wanted to discuss, really. There's like I said, there's an awful lot of information surrounding this game. But whether it actually materializes, and that's the biggest thing. They made Tourist Bus sound really, really good. And look at what we've got to deal with. Look at what we've got to play with until they decide, when they're actually going to bring it up to speed. And I just feel that a lot of the issues which these games do have, I feel that they could be easily addressed if they just put a little bit of time and care into it. That's all they need to do. So that's all they need to do. Because like I said, I enjoy the busing, I enjoy the driving, I enjoy the dynamic weather. Fernbus looks absolutely amazing in the wet. When it's raining, it definitely feels really, really good to play. And I'm just afraid. I'm a bit worried because a lot of, like I said, a lot of stuff in Tourist Bus for the PC, when it got ported over to consoles, there was an awful lot of settings missing. Now, I give them credit. On the PC side of it, Tourist Bus isn't too bad. In fact, it's a lot more stable than what the console side of it is. But I think we need to take a little bit of caution with that when it comes to obviously Fernbus coming to the consoles. there are going to be a lot of things which are going to be missing, and I have a funny feeling that it's going to be no different than what we've already experienced with Tourist Bus already. You know, that's all it comes down to for me, is that because they're copying and pasting so much stuff and bringing everything up to speed with Unreal 5 and all this sort of stuff, there's bound to be a few issues which are going to be game breaking. You know, I mean, they couldn't even get, you know, the console port right for Tourist Bus. You know, and now they've added another layer on top, bringing it up to Unreal Engine 5. You can kind of see where I'm going with this. It definitely, it all really sounds good to, you know, too good to be true. You know, is this Fabian's way of marketing? You know, because at the end of the day, the more people that buy the game, the more it gets paid, essentially. If they up their communication, if they give us scheduled updates with really solid information, maybe like I said, a roadmap to let us know where they are and what they're doing, you know, it might restore a little bit of faith into the player base. But I feel the way that a lot of people have been treated as, you know, consumers of this game, people that have obviously paid hard-earned money for it, you know, just to receive the same generic messages, the same generic answers with no real solution. And, you know, like I say, being left with more questions than answers, it's definitely something which I'm not a very big fan of. And it seems to be replicated across everything that they seem to be doing at the moment. How's it going, Reaper, the gatekeeper? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Sunday driver. Yeah. So do you play this a lot on? I'm guessing you play it. Well, of course you play this on PC if you're on about this game anyway. But this is what I mean. You see, there's a big divide. There's a lot of people that are for it coming to console, and you know they're kind of blinded because of the way that, yeah, it's almost like an excitement build up. The hype is building up. You know, they thank him and everything like that. And to be fair, everyone, like I say, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I feel that those that kind of blow smoke up his ass, essentially, are part of the problem. Because I don't feel like there will be any sort of solution to it if people don't really admit that there's a serious problem. Oh, absolutely, Richard. Absolutely. And the thing is, it's like people think that Unreal Engine 5 is going to solve all these issues. In fact, it's not. It's going to create more. The Unreal 4 is a fantastic engine. You know, we've got the likes of, you know, things like SnowRunner, for example. You know, we've got other games which use Unreal 4, and it's proven to be a pretty solid system. They seem to be the only people that are really struggling with the core elements of what their games are supposed to be. You know, how many simulation games do you have to make before you get the AI right? And the problem is they're not interested in making it right because it's just copy and paste. That is it. That is the core of it. It's just being copied and pasted. Even the roads look the same. The dashboard you play on Tourist Bus, you get that same flicker on the dash. Do you know what I mean? Like all the buses, literally detail for detail, are exactly the same. Exactly the same. Of course, being able to drive around Europe in a bus sounds really, really cool. Sounds really pleasing, but the towns and cities that you drive through don't feel lived in. The scenery is, well, it's left a lot to be desired. You know, I mean, this is what it looks like everywhere you go. So you're not, like I say, you're not going to see anything revolutionary. You're not going to see anything new. All the textures and everything are still the same. Tourist bus is so good. Oh, it sucks so much. Well, I mean, straight away, Reaper, they're obviously two different development teams, two different developers, but they are published by the same person. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes from, because TML didn't develop On the Road. Aerosoft did. But I think that, for On the Road users, for people that still play that game, it's having a full-on meltdown. That game, the problems are becoming much, much worse, and that's just evidence of the fact that, that's what happens when games are neglected. Without regular updates and maintenance, that's exactly what happens. And it's no different than Tourist Bus at the moment. When you play it on console, there wasn't half the issues which are now apparent. I think the game is just becoming more and more unstable as time really goes on. Yeah. Now, like I said before, we can make our own minds up about whether we're going to buy this for the console or not. Like I say, a lot of the information which Fabian has given out is very loose, very vague, and very evasive. If you was to ask any sort of like direct questions regarding it, you probably wouldn't get a straightforward response or a response at all. But we make our own minds up. Do you chuck your money at a game which essentially you kind of know in the back of your head what you're going to get, and we all know what to expect? I feel, and this is just my opinion, this is just how I feel about it, but I feel that the Unreal Engine 5 discussion is just a way of sugarcoating it. And that's my opinion. I feel that that's just a deliberate ploy to kind of make people, think about it for 2 minutes. Say, well, we've got Tourist Bus, that didn't do so well, but maybe they've learned from their mistake. Maybe with the new Unreal 5 engine being the predominant factor there, maybe they should give him another chance. Maybe the game will be in a much more playable state than what we currently have, and that is something which will linger until the game really, really releases. At the end of the day, we can't expect any different. That's the way that I look at it anyway. That's the view that I have towards it. In fact, I feel that Tourist Bus is actually a lot better than this game, and that's just simply down to the fact that Tourist Bus has a lot more to do. Yeah, Reaper. The problem is like I said, they said that all wheels would work for that game too, and they even took wheel support away and brought it back. And a lot of people were still having a lot of issues, and still to this day can't even use their wheels. Yeah, absolutely, Richard. It does indeed. And to be fair, Fernbus for PC, you do get. I mean, you've got to have a fairly decent gaming PC to run this to any sort of standard, which remotely looks good anyway. If you haven't got the right setup, then you can really, really see the game struggle. Of course, like we've said, they have mentioned that they're going to be bringing Tourist Bus up to speed with Unreal Engine 5. Now, I'm all for that. If it puts the game right, if it generally improves the game, then happy days. But I feel, like I've said before, that I feel like it's just going to be a little too late, to be honest. Even if they do fix it, and even if they do get it to a playable state, essentially they should have done that in the first place. You know. And of course, any issues that come with bringing Tourist Bus up to speed with Unreal Engine 5 are obviously going to show in Fernbus for console as well, because they're going to be running on the same engine, essentially the same code, because the buses are the same. Just a lot of copy and pasting, really. But it does boil down to expectations. It's what you expect from this game. And this is essentially it. This is what you're seeing. You know, if you're not a fan of create your own route, then, you know, you're not going to enjoy it, I don't think, because, you know, that's what this game heavily consists of. It's just linking different bus stops together and unlocking new bus stops and, you know, driving them. That's it. Use just ability to drive around Europe. But the problem is that, you know, Europe doesn't actually look like Europe. You know, the roads are very much the same as Tourist Bus. You know, the AI still drive as poorly as what they do on all the other all their other games. They're not intelligent at all. So it's actually quite crazy how similar Tourist Bus is to this. You know, all the traffic density, selection, you know, the slider you can have, you know, that's the same. You know, I do like the fact that they, you know, you can choose your weather, your dynamic weather, or just a specific weather type. But I mean, I don't think that really makes up for everything else that's really going on. I mean, what do you guys think? You know, you're a bit 50-50 on the matter, or are you waiting for it to be released to really make a decision? Or are you firmly planted, solid, you know, you're not going to buy it because, let's face it, you know, you can see it for what it really is? Whoa. And you also get the same things as well. Like, it doesn't feel like the buses were really tested for the roads. You know, you do find yourself in a few dips and stuff where, you know, it bottoms out and you crash. You know, it's kind of unavoidable. You know, you've got to crash at least once or twice on these routes. Yeah, I do give them that though. The map is fairly big. But the thing is, because the map's fairly big, there's a lot more going on. Not going to buy it, Observador. No. Any particular reason? Is it because of your experience with their other titles? I mean, I agree, Richard. I agree. A lot of people won't agree with that. And in fact, a lot of people will actually tune into this stream hoping that I'm going to be speaking, you know, completely positive about a broken game. And that's not what I'm about. That's not what my channel's about. Yeah, I'll give you my general verdict. You know, I'll tell you how I really feel about these games, because I'm not going to be one of those people that says that the game is fine when in actual fact it's not. I can't do that. Morally, I can't do that. Yeah. Do you know what, right? The problem is I really enjoyed On the Road. In fact, when I first bought my steering wheel and stuff, you know, On the Road was really the only other option to play. And, you know, I guess I did enjoy it for a little bit with what it had to offer. But then when they started messing around with the wheel support, and when things started going really wrong, and kind of like no updates or information was really given, I was like, oh, you know, there's another game added to the library, you know, that I'm just going to look at, never play again, you know. And I wish that, like I've said previously, I wish that the refund policy was a lot more lenient, but unfortunately it's not. But like, as you can see, the buses look exactly the same. The AI traffic looks exactly the same. I mean, it don't look too bad, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's like here I'm actually holding traffic up, even though he could come through there. So, you know, the AI aren't that smart. I find though that, you know, things like Tourist Bus and Fernbus, they are okay games, but in small doses. I think the moment that you like start to get passionate about them and start to, you know, fixate on certain things which kind of prevent you from enjoying it, or failing that, game breaking bugs which prevent you from actually playing it, you know, that's when it starts to get a bit bad. You know, it's the save data corruption with Tourist Bus, you know, because it's not actually seen to be breaking the game to a point of preventing you from playing it, because even if you lose your save data, it doesn't actually stop you from being able to play the game. And that's one of Sony's biggest flaws, is the fact that they claim that there's nothing wrong with it, because you know, if you can lose your save progress 10 times, 20 times, whatever, but as long as you can load the game up and as long as it plays, that's it. You've not really got a leg to stand on. Same thing with on the road. You know, it's just a shame that they don't, like I say, it's a shame that they don't communicate, and it's a shame that, you know, their updates aren't as frequent as we would like them to be. That's the only real thing that lets the games down. You know, other than that, you know, Fernbus, Tourist Bus, I've had a lot of fun with them. You know, I've spent um, I've spent countless hours playing them. You know, just to lose all my progress. And I'm very curious actually as to whether the same issue with the save data will persist in Fernbus as what it does in Tourist Bus for console. Yeah, that's going to be the big one. But we shall see. We shall see. But like I say, guys, you know, this is just my opinion. Please don't take it as gospel. You know, the information which I've given from you has actually come from the horse's mouth, so I wouldn't, you know, overanalyze it too much. But at the same time, you know, if you do like this sort of content and you do want to see more and you do want to be kept up to date with things, then think about liking and subscribing, turning that bell notification on as well. We do have a Discord too. You know, if you're interested in joining that, I can drop a link in the chat, but it will also be in the description as well. You know, in there we just discuss stuff like this. You know, and it's not just Fernbus, Tourist Bus. You know, it's anything sim related really. You know, the list really does go on. So, you know, if you're interested in that, you know, hop on in, say hello. You know, you're all more than welcome. But anybody watching this video, if there's anything that you actually want to see, if there's any questions, or if there's anything you want me to show you, fire away, because I have no problem with showing you. If it helps you make somewhat of an informed decision, or aid your decision as to whether you should buy it or not, you know, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I support that completely. I think one of the statements as well that Fabian made, which kind of made me giggle, was the fact that he said that these games will be maintained for years to come. Now, I'm not too sure if my years are the same as his, but you know, it's definitely left a lot to be desired, left a lot to be seen, because, like I say, his actions aren't matching his words. You know, I know he's the middleman, but you put your name on something, you are accountable, you are liable for a certain element of it. Yeah, Reaper. I mean, like I say, I was really excited for when they were bringing out the next gen version of On the Road. Here we are. We can see the rain now. So this is, like I said, this is one thing that I really like about this game, is it looks really nice in the wet. You know, but like I said, it doesn't make up for everything, does it? But yeah, like I said, I was expecting a lot more with the next gen version of the game, but in fact, I think it just made it worse. It really did. It just made it worse. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. But this is it. This is it. Like I say, you can make up your own mind. But I can assure you that anybody that's kind of excited to play this, I say give it a week, and you'll understand what I'm saying. And I don't know if you can see that as well, but like on the dash there, every now and then, like you can see. I know it's like a texture thing. It's really fuzzy. You can kind of see it a little bit more down there, but the more you zoom in, look, it kind of goes away. So it's like a distance thing. It's really bizarre. I've always said that these games, it feels like they put a lot of attention to detail in the buses, but they put so much attention to detail in the buses that the outside world doesn't look right. You know, it's almost as if you're driving with a green screen, you know? But the wet is the only weather that really makes this game shine, essentially. You know, it looks really nice in the wet. You know, but for me, is that enough? No, it's not. It's really not. You know, as time goes on, you know, we will see, and I think a lot of people which do buy this for console, you know, there's going to be Facebook groups made for this game for console specifically, you know, and you're just going to see all the complaints flooding. You know, a lot of people say, well, they're going to buy it to be in it for the long haul. You know, they've said that they're going to maintain them for years to come, but they say that about every game that they develop. Like, what is that floating thing above there? Please stop. Like, what's that all about? Let's go in here and see what this is all about, shall we? Ugh, here we go. Adult chats, eh? I don't think so. But yeah, I agree, Reaper. Everything is just it is just a bit foggy. Yeah, the radio does work, Richard. it does work. So we've got these like police checks, these police stops. You know, and to be honest, some people may see that as like a little cool feature, maybe. But for me, I just feel like I mean, it's a bit unnecessary. Are you ever going to actually get any sort of? I mean, I've crashed this bus several times, you know, and that's not come up in the police report, you know. So I don't know. It seems very basic, doesn't it? But yeah, the radio works just fine. Whether it translates to the console side of it, I have no idea. Because this is, like I'll show you, this is the sort of information which you obviously get. So you obviously get your general stuff, your camera, vehicle stuff for your wheel and all that sort of stuff. But this is what I'm interested in the most. When it comes to the console side of things, are we going to get force feedback options for it? That is the biggest thing for me, more than anything, because I play Tourist Bus on the PC, play Tourist Bus on the PS5, and you get the same options as this for the PC version of Tourist Bus, but in the console side of it, none of this is to be seen. And I just don't quite understand why those elements aren't included. You know, we're supposed to be a simulation game after all, you know, we'll support, you know, at least give us some more features or accessibility options to be able to tailor the way that we like to drive. As we all know on Tourist Bus, you know, the steering wheel it's like driving with a board. You know, it's rough. It's not a pleasant experience. And obviously the only way to remove the force feedback is to load up a game that supports wheels beforehand, then load into Tourist Bus, and it completely removes the force feedback entirely. You know, and I just feel that we shouldn't have to do that to enjoy driving the buses, you know. But it is a lot of rinse and repeat. It is a lot of the same stuff, you know, and like I said before, if your expectations are really high for it, I would probably lower them just a little bit, because it's not like we haven't seen this before. The opportunity and being able to drive around Europe, different maps and stuff, you know, getting all the DLC for free, you know, is a nice touch, but it almost feels like that touch is deliberate to kind of distract everybody and take it away from everybody that, you know, the game probably won't be in a very good condition, very good state when it is actually released initially. You know, I could sit here and say this game is fantastic, this game is great, but in essence, it's not. There are a few core elements to the game which obviously do very well, and I've gone over those, but there always seems to be more negative stuff than positive. And I suppose it comes down to just appreciating it for what it is. You know, like I say, if you're interested in these games, you enjoy Tourist Bus, you know, I don't doubt that you aren't going to enjoy this. You've just got to understand that a lot of the issues are going to come with it, and if you can accept that, then that's great. That's up to you. But as for me, I'm getting a little bit tired of this, the same sort of antics being used, you know, and it's not fair, you know. And if people don't, you know, it's hard enough for the cost of living these days anyway. You know, being tricked or conned or scammed or falsely advertised and not being able to do anything about it after the fact. you know, because I don't know if any of you guys had the same issue, but when I was playing Tourist Bus, it worked absolutely fine. And then the moment I went over like that 14-hour threshold, that's when things started to go wrong. But of course, it went past the point of being able to get a refund. You know, so that in itself wasn't appreciated, but I suppose that's just the way it is. Oh, what was that? Don't know. Another thing as well, you see the wiper blade. It doesn't actually go past that little side mirror up there, so you can't actually see in it when it's raining. You know, so it's just little things like that. But as you can see, like I can completely floor this bus. It is a pursuit. It's I guess it's kind of cool that they kind of comment on your driving, you know. But if you've ever played Bus Sim, you know you get fed up with their dialogue, the things that they say. You know, like no, I don't want to see a picture of your cat, thank you. Well, it's a bit like this, really. You know, you do the same things, and they say the same things and sound the same, and stuff like that. But I am also curious because it is Germany, it is a German developer, and a lot of the menus, in fact, all of the menus are, apart from obviously these top things, you know, are in German. When you get their tickets to board board the coach, board the bus, whatever, you can't actually read it because it's German. So I guess it's not really ideal. But like I said, guys, I'm really interested to see and hear your thoughts, because anybody that's kind of watched the channel for a little while knows that, you know, I've said that I'll keep you guys up to date with these sorts of things, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not one for sugarcoating. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. You know, there are a lot, like I said, there are a lot of questions, you know, than answers, and I feel like the game is just going to be a massive flop, to be honest. You know, a lot of people, they want this game to come to console. You know, they want it to do well, and I think everybody wants it to do well, really. Um, but that's not up to us. You know, you just vote with your wallet at the end of the day. You know, my verdict is that I just don't think it's really acceptable, to be honest. But you make of it of what you will. But I'm going to be quiet for a little minute, and I'm just going to let you enjoy the driving, let you see it for what it is, without my voice in the background. We'll continue to this next stop, and then we will pick up from there. Like I say, if you've got any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. But I think I'm just going to enjoy this nice little drive, and like I say, pick up from there. Yeah, hopefully, it's there's no trouble, but we shall see. You know, the one thing that I will mention, and just keep an eye out for it, is that you'll notice that a lot of the places, in fact, they all look the same. A lot of the junctions look the same. The textures for them look the same as well. You know, and as we can see, I'll show you like around this place that we're about to go through, and then you can kind of see what I mean when it comes to everything kind of looking a bit bare bones outside of the bus, you know. He ain't even holding on to a steering wheel. Now, of course, like, you know, the scenery is not overly important, but obviously you wanna somewhat feel a little bit immersed into the scenery, because I mean, at the end of the day, we're driving for long periods of time, you know, so you don't want like a repeat of like on the road, you know, where everything just looks the same everywhere you go. But unfortunately, that is the case, because I guarantee you are not even able to drive up there. It's just all backdrop stuff. Oh, I mean, the one thing that does work is the speed traps. The speed cameras work fine. There's no issues there. Just kind of give you a little bit of a show around. Now, like I say, anybody that plays like on the road, you'll know exactly what I mean. Just all these houses along here. It just all looks the same, doesn't it? All this along here as well. You know, don't be fooled. Do do do. Oh, hey, you look familiar. Wonder where I've seen you. Wonder if there's any more familiar faces. I don't know what she's doing there. She's just sunk into the seat. Well, he looks familiar. What, cool, twinning it up. Definitely familiar. But yeah, like I say, I can go on and on and on about, you know, the obvious things. I think everybody, you know, you really know what to expect, you know, and I hope that, you know, if you do decide to buy this game for, you know, for the console, I hope that you do enjoy it. You know, I hope that you have hours of fun with it. You know, because like I say, I'm not knocking the game. I'm just knocking the development and kind of how us as customers kind of get treated. You know, which I think is fair enough. You know, given we don't need that sign. Given the fact that, you know, obviously we buy these games, as I put it, we can give our verdict. Right. But yeah, we'll have a little walk around. Actually, we'll have a little walk around and we'll see what it's like. Because sometimes getting a different perspective when you're not in a bus can kind of really show you what it's like. So I mean, it's not too bad, but it's not brilliant either. Yeah, I think it'll make a nice addition to the console, but you know, we've been over this several times. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, we do what we can with what we got at the end of the day. You know, and like I say, I do hope that you guys enjoy it, and I hope that I've covered it as much as I can. Um, like I say, as long as they do bring these games up to speed, as long as they do fix them with the new Unreal Engine and all that sort of stuff, then you know I can eat humble pie, can't I? But I mean, for what it is and for what I've experienced and for what they've shown me, I think they all like this same color, you know. Um, but from what I've dealt with and what we've all endured over the last, you know, year or so, with game after game just not really working and it all being broken, you know, I think it's fair to have my assumptions, because that's all we've really got to go off. You know, that is it. That's all we've got to go off. Hmm. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. But yeah, guys, like I say, I've kind of gone over as much of the information as really the important information anyway, um, to what really is to be expected. I think the main ones that we really need to focus on more than anything is the, you know, like I said, the steering wheel support and whether there's going to be any features with that, being able to obviously adjust the force feedback and everything. As to what they do with the bus packs, whether they'll, you know, do that cross purchase thing that they've mentioned, is another story. You know, like they said, there's no old gen release, you know, and there's no release date yet, but they are aiming to get the game out later this year or early next. You know, and like I say, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I'm looking forward to seeing how they improve it, or if they improve it, and obviously what the games look like on Unreal Engine 5. You know, let's just hope that you know, they do manage to get themselves on track and polish things up and iron it out and get it right, because I feel that if they don't do it this time, they're definitely gonna have an uproar of a response. That's for sure. Whether they respond to it is entirely down to them at the end of the day. But I can assure you myself, I probably won't be buying Fernbus for the console, because I have the PC and I already know what it is and what, you know, what's going to be included and what's not. So, you know, but like I say, guys, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the stream. You know, if you did, leave us a cheeky like. If you're new here, subscribe. Um, and we will be back tomorrow, probably with a little bit of Train Sim World 3 and a little bit of Euro Truck Sim 2. So if you're interested in that, like I say, turn that bell notification on. That way you won't miss it. But until next time, guys, take it easy, stay safe. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings, and I shall catch you all in the next one.